Let's talk about it tomorrow. A big day, Vancouver against New England Revolution. New England struggled early on. You guys under new head coach Carl Robinson really gotten all things going in the right way early on. Tell us, Marco, what Carl Robinson has brought to this team. Has he brought his experience from MLS in Europe? Is he a big-time communicator with his players? You give us an insight what type of coach he's been for you and the team early on.
Oh, yeah, Carl's been nothing short of fantastic since he's came in. Bringing his experience as a player, both, in Europe and also in the league has been huge for a lot of us because you see how he can relate to us and how he kind of uses that in his coaching, which is something I think a lot of players really appreciate. But especially me, speaking on behalf of the younger guys coming up, he's just been very instrumental. He's, like you said, he's a great communicator. He's always talking and outgoing, and he kind of helps you feel settled. A lot of times with the coach, you kind of feel almost intimidated, but nothing like that with Carl. He's your friend, and he also, when he has to be, he'll be, a tough coach to you. But he's been fantastic and very open and always communicating, and that's something a player really looks for. And I think he's made a huge impact on the team already, and I think it'll continue to show in the team's performances.
And I got to tell you, Marco, the time he spent here in Toronto at TFC, I got to know Carl quite a bit, and he's a stand-up, first-class citizen, but a wonderful human being, and a guy that really has his heart in the right place for whether it was his teammates at that time, but now his players. And he is a no-nonsense type of a coach as well. He can mix it up both ways. I had him on a couple weeks ago. He was excited, but he understood the task at hand. And you mentioned the young guys, Marco. We think about other Canadians like Russell T-Bird and how important he is for the Whitecaps in Canada. How great is it to have guys that are, not much older than you, but are also Canadians that have all the same goal to succeed for your club, but then maybe down the road for your country?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's nice to be able to look up to those guys who, like you said, they are older than me, but not by much, and they're kind of guys that I can look to as role models, and I can see them, but I can also relate to them as teammates and friends because, like you said, we're not much very far apart in terms of age, and I can look at a guy like Russell who's already done so much and continues. He's got definitely a great future with both the club, hopefully, very long time here, and also with the national team. I'm sure he'll be a very big part in the future, as he already has become. So I think being able to train with these guys, and let alone the rest of the guys I've been able to be with, experienced pros like Jay DeMerit, Andy O'Brien, David Ousted, who I get to learn from every day. But guys like Bryce and Russell, I think, are guys I can really look up to because I want to follow a similar path as they have, because now I'm setting my goals for the next process in the Canadian youth setup, which would be the under-20s. And then as soon as possible, I want to be with the senior men's team because, that's the goal you have to set for yourself. So, like you mentioned, I mean, it's very important, and it's really nice to have those kind of guys around.
Marco, it's got to be great to train with guys like Kenny Miller, Darren Maddox. I mean, I could go on and on. Andy O'Brien, Stephen Beitashour, these guys, and taking their shots and looking at their formations and how they're lining up and you name it. It's got to be great to now start to get your mind focused that sooner than later you're going to have to play with men. Even though you're 17, it's great to get this type of work now than later on.
Yeah, of course. I mean, 100% you can see the difference, and me being able to come into this environment, training every day with the players that you mentioned, and that's everybody really, to see the level and the experience they have. It's a learning experience every single day, and it's just going to be massive for me to continue to grow as a goalkeeper, so that when the time comes, which is hopefully sooner rather than later. But of course, whenever that happens, that I'll be ready to make the jump. And but like you mentioned, I mean, those kind of guys, it's priceless, the amount of experience and knowledge they give you, and especially, like I said, working with the older goalkeepers and David Ousted and Pablo Ternaghi, being with them on a daily basis, being able to talk to them one-on-one. They're always giving me advice and helping me out, and it's like I said, it's already become very helpful for me, and I'm sure it'll continue to help me grow as a goalkeeper.
Let me ask you this, Marco. Obviously now you're in MLS with the Vancouver Whitecaps. I'm pretty sure you're going to be watching a number of games, not only Whitecaps games that you'll be there in person and live to watch, but also other teams' goalies in their performances. I got to tell you, MLS has a number of goalies that they're lucky to have in their league. Nick Raimondo, number 3 goalie with Team USA. You look at Tally Hall with Houston Dynamo. All sorts of outstanding goalies. Julio Cesar, Brazil's number 1 goalie here with TFC. Bill Hammett. I could go on and on. Who are you going to look at to try and tailor yourself after? Or maybe pick up a few tidbits here and there that if one day you are here in MLS as a starter, you can learn from?
You know, I agree 100% with what you say in terms of the fact that there are so many. So therefore, I guess it's kind of hard to say there's one person to narrow it down to. For me, I'm lucky to have the goalkeepers who are here, but also, like you said, being able to watch the kind of goalkeepers that are on teams throughout the entire league. There's so many things that I see, and when I'm watching the games, just things you can pick up from every single goalkeeper that I can use for myself are going to be huge factors for me, because, like you said, there's many different types of goalkeepers as well. So you see how good these guys are and the things they do, and for me, taking little bits from everybody will be huge, and putting them into my game, how they'll work for me, I'm sure will be a great help for me in my game.